All right, everyone. So Phil here, and welcome back to DSP reacting to patron private videos here, or private react videos, I should say, for patrons. I said it backwards. What we're about to do is watch the intro to the TV show Smallville, which used to be on the WB a long time ago. Okay, or was it UPN back then? Actually, I don't even know what it was called back then. I've never seen the show ever. I've seen clips of it, snippets of it. I've never watched the show. So we're gonna watch, I guess, the intro. Now, the reason that I'm doing this as a separate video is because I have no clue what YouTube will do with this. YouTube might very well block this. YouTube could, have issues with it. So we're going to watch it, see what happens. And if this ends up getting blocked, obviously I'll let the patron know, hey, man, I couldn't do that for you, all right? But the other good news is there's another video we're going to watch right after that that's very directly related to it. So here we go. I did not even know this song was the intro. I've heard the song before. I had no idea it was the intro to this show. This guy, I've seen him more than the other actors. I've seen him as Lex more than the other actors. I don't know who the hell that was. This is so weird. A small town Clark growing up, right? Allison Mack is in this. Didn't she used to have a show on Nickelodeon, Alice Mack or something? I think so. Like I said, I've never seen this before. Jonathan King. I like how they act like it's so authentic they have to name the creators of Superman in the intro. Wow. Anyway, so now, here's why this ties in. The origins and bio of Silver Age Superman. Let's watch this. This is interesting.
Kal-El of Krypton was just 3 years old when his planet was destroyed. His father, Jor-El, was one of the few individuals that foresaw this destruction, and sent his son away to planet Earth. The alien child was found by an elderly couple named Jonathan and Martha Kent. They raised him as their own child in the town called Smallville, and named him Clark.
You know what's weird? They blocked out all the text bubbles, and I wonder if by doing that, they're able to show the comic panes and say, oh, we didn't creatively copy the entire work or something. Interesting. I've never seen this done before. I wonder why that's why they're doing that. Also interesting to know that he actually did grow up in a town called Smallville. Okay.
The yellow sun of our world greatly empowered this young Clark Kent. It did not take long for him to begin using this power as a young superhero named Superboy, meeting and working with several other new and young heroes of his era, including the likes of Bruce Wayne, Oliver Queen, and Aquaboy. As a hero, he also first encountered and made an enemy of Lex Luthor.
Lex Luthor tried to make him drink milk.
Nemesis. While he also befriended the likes of Lana Lang, Pete Ross, and his Kryptonian dog, Crypto.
Of course,
it is this version of Superboy that had trained Kal-El of Earth 2, after finding himself on that world during one of his adventures. While this version of Superboy also traveled to the future for a time, working in the 30th century as part of the Legion of Superheroes.
Wow, did he? I didn't know that.
In the summer following Clark's graduation from high school, both of the Kents passed away. A saddened Clark decided to move on to the city of Metropolis, where he studied journalism at Metropolis University. He got a job as a reporter at the Daily Planet after this, working for Perry White, and there he met his co-workers Jimmy Olsen and Lois Lane. As with other Supermen, Clark and Lois had romantic feelings for one another and eventually started a romantic relationship.
Super family.
Upgrading his hero name to Superman, Clark continued to secretly fight crime as his hero and protect the world from threats such as Brainiac, Starro, and Kronos.
Starro, the giant starfish.
During his career as a superhero, Kal-El met survivors of Krypton living in the bottled city of Kandor, who he helped settle on another planet, and also befriended his cousin, who he helped settle on Earth, and eventually would become this world's Supergirl. Superman, along with Batman, Wonder Woman, Barry Allen, Hal Jordan.
That's cool. Look at this splash screen of the Silver Era right there, with all their names on the sides. That's neat, man. Look at that. Of course, several people you probably never heard of are on there. Steel Vice. Is that say Vice? I can't even read it. Right? A lot of people on there are like, who the hell is that? Firestorm. Some I know: Black Canary, Atom, Aquaman, Green Lantern, Hawkman. Those are Gypsy. Don't know who the heck that is. Elongated Man, my favorite DC hero ever. The stretchiest man alive. Right? And by the way, before Mr. Fantastic copied him, because he was first.
Aquaman, and Martian Manhunter together formed an alliance called the Justice League, a team dedicated to protecting the world from threats they could not handle individually. Batman in particular proved a close ally of Kal-El, and the two would often work together. They discovered each other's secret identities early on in their superhero careers, but agreed to keep this information to themselves. This bond of trust and teamwork proved formidable, and they formed a deep sense of respect for each other that lasted throughout their time as superheroes. Kal-El consistently worked to protect his world and universe right up until the crisis of Infinite Earths. This Superman found himself embroiled in a massive battle as a being called the Anti-Monitor tried to destroy all of reality, including alternate versions of Superman such as his old friend Kal-El of Earth 2. During this event, his version of Supergirl was tragically killed, and ultimately, most of reality was destroyed in this encounter. Thanks to the surviving heroes, including this version of Kal-El, the Anti-Monitor was defeated and a single universe was saved. Superman returned to this Earth and continued to operate as a hero, until he and his history were ultimately erased and converted into a new individual with a new history for this new Earth. This was an entirely different Superman who ultimately led a very different life from Kal-El of Earth 1. Yet a version of this Kal-El survived during the events of Convergence, when a being called Talos took over a collection of surviving cities collected by Brainiac before certain worlds were destroyed throughout the history of the multiverse. This version of Kal-El was Superboy from when he was living in the 30th century. The final fate of this young hero is currently unknown.
So is that it?
Hello and welcome to Comic Island. My name is Arden, and this is my origins and bio for the Silver Age Superman. So this one ended up being pretty short and straightforward, mostly because this is the baseline level Superman, the one that kind of is what a lot of people think of when they think of early era Clark Kent and Lois.
Sorry, Lois, I'm hitting the road, and he has like a hobo hat on. What the hell is this comic book cover that we're seeing right here?
These Silver Age comics
what
and
the?
characters that
He did become a super
basically
hobo.
the
This is right at the bottom.
bedrock of all the comic book stories that we rely on today and use as reference for all the movies and that sort of thing. Another cool aspect of that is we are allowed to explore different aspects of Superman's character, where the Golden Age Superman was probably the weakest, starting out at this very baseline level of Superman just being able to like lift a car over his head to eventually becoming a full-powered Superman as power creep set in. Silver Age Superman is basically where this power creep was at its zenith, and I would argue from all this research I've been doing into Superman, whereas New Earth Superman experienced a bit of power down to make things a little more grounded and something writers could work with, while Golden Age Superman had that trajectory I was talking about where he had to build up his power. Silver Age Superman could move entire planets, apparently without difficulty.
Jesus.
Pretty much he could outmaneuver and overpower any opponent he came across.
Wow.
He was just about as strong as any depiction of Superman I've ever seen. And it's kind of neat. It's a neat idea to me that this is by far the strongest one, whereas our Superman's about as powerful enough that he could exert force close to that of like a small planet. This Superman apparently can unleash power significantly.
He's pulling
more
a
than
whole
that.
chain of fucking
Whether or
planets.
not
Look at
this is
that.
Exactly true or a firm science.
Wow.
Is unlikely to be revealed at any point or for us to ever get a firm answer. But that's how I like to think of things because it's a neat idea. So let me know what you guys think of all that in the comment section below. Thanks for watching, and if you like this video, be sure to check.
That's interesting because the thing is with the comic book characters, especially with DC, they had different eras. Golden Age was the start of all these comic book characters, but they were more down to earth, more realistic. Then they had Silver Age when they became more superheroes. They got way more powers and things like that. Then you have like more Bronze Age and then Modern Age. So there's like different generations and iterations of these heroes, and they're not actually the same people. And then the way they explained it in DC was, oh, there's a crisis on Infinite Earth. There's a multiverse. And in each multiverse, there was a different version representing those characters, and they're all a little different. And then they all, all come together and fight and everything, to try to save everything. That's interesting. Well, anyway, that's cool. I didn't know about Silver Age. I know there's many different Supermen. I grew up in the time in the 90s when the modern Superman died, and then there were the 4 replacement Supermen, none of which were the real Superman. That was a mess. But anyway, that was cool. That was cool. That was interesting to learn about that version of Superman. I've never read Crisis on Infinite Earths or anything like that. But I guess that explains a lot of why there's so many different versions of DC characters, right? In the modern day, they probably say, oh, another dimension is the animated universe. Another dimension is the Arkham video game universe, right? They probably go that far. So, all right. So, thank you very much to the anonymous patron who funded this video and actually another video as well. I split them up to avoid copyright issues. Hopefully you were able to watch this video and hopefully you enjoyed your videos. Thanks a lot for your ongoing support.